All rise. Veuillez vous lever. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Thank you very much. Court officer, the case, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The situation in the Republic of Kenya in the case of the prosecutor versus William Samuel Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang, ICC 0109-0111. We're in open session.
Thank you very much. Appearances?
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors. For the prosecution, Lucio Garcia with Lorenzo Pugliari, Senior Trial Attorney Anton Steinberg, Pierre Belbenoit-Havich, and Jasmina Salianovic.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors. Wilfred Nderitu, Counsel for Victims, assisted by Mr. Ochlon Narantsetseg from OPCV, and we have our pro bono member, Amanda Wilmot. Mr. James Mawira, our case manager, will be joining us later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oui, Maître Bourgeois, donc.
Yes, good morning. Maître Bourgeois, duty counsel for the witnesses.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors. The team for Mr. Sang remains the same, and Mr. Sang remains present today.
Thank you.
Mr. President, Your Honors, good morning. Mr. Ruto is excused today. He'll be back later in the week as required. He's represented by Mr. Andrew Mora and Miss Grace Sullivan, our trial support team, Dato Shamla Alagendra, and myself, Kareem Khan.
Thank you very much. And witness, welcome back to the court. And Mr. Garcia will continue his examination in chief. Thank you. Remember the advice given to you. We still have to work on that. That is, pause for 5 seconds after the completion of the question from Mr. Garcia. Wait. It's important for you to wait for him to finish the question, even when you know what he's going to ask you about. Still wait for him to finish. Count 5 seconds in your mind and then start your answer. Do you understand?
Understand.
Thank you very much. Mr. Garcia?
Yes, Your Honor, if we could just go into private session for a minute or two, then afterwards we can come back out into public.
Private session.
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Witness, I'd like you to tell us about the 30th of December, 2007. Can you tell us what occurred on that day?
During that day, there was major demonstration in town. And major activities that took place at around 3 in the evening or 4. It's the announcement of the presidential results in Nairobi.
Now, just to be clear, I understand you're talking about 3. Is that in the afternoon?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Witness, where were you at 3 in the afternoon on that day, on the 30th of December?
I was in the location 1.
Now, were you able to listen to the results?
Yes.
And what were the results that you listened to on that day?
I can't remember the exact figure, but both presidential candidates, the Honorable Mwai Kibaki and Honorable Raila Odinga, were above over 4 million votes, but I can't remember exact figure.
Now, was a winner announced on that day, on the 30th of December?
Yes, the winner was declared President Mwai Kibaki.
Now, can you tell us, you being in Eldoret, what was the reaction of the people in Eldoret when this was publicized?
As soon as the results announced, there was a lot of noise in the town, and a lot of things happened immediately. And like fire has happened in Nairobi, everything was in people were not expecting, but though they were expecting that the wrecking will be there, already now everything started, that people were now demonstrating and starting panning tires and many other things in the town.
Now, you say that the people...
Sorry, Mr. President, I think there's at line 20, I think the word is rigging, not reckoning.
That's correct, Your Honor. I'm grateful. Now, you say, Mr. Witness, that the people were now demonstrating and started burning tires. Can you tell us, these people that were doing these things, of what ethnicity were they?
As far as I can remember, it was a majority in Kalenjins and Luas.
And do you know why they were demonstrating?
Already they were they already think that Kibaki didn't win, but Raila was supposed to be declared the president, according to them.
So just for the transcript, I think you said at line 7 of page 6, they were already thinking that Kibaki didn't win. Is that correct?
Yes.
Just remember, Mr. Witness, what we indicated last week is just speak clearly into the microphone. Don't move away, because then it's difficult to hear when you trail off. Thank you. Now, you said that the people were now demonstrating and started burning tires and many other things in town. What were the other things that they were doing in town?
Blocking roads and singing in the streets and making people to be ready for anything that could happen in the next few hours.
And I'd like you to explain that for us. When you say that they were singing in the streets and making people to be ready for anything that could happen in the next few hours, can you explain that to the court? What do you mean by that? Now, Mr. Witness, you said it was Sang who was saying this. Do you remember if it was on a particular program? What?
I can't remember it was any program by then, but it was during the announcement of the results. Yes, and there was no particular program, if I can remember. If it was any program, then I could not stay long to listen if there was a program.
All right, and just so we're clear on the matter, can you remember approximately at what time you would have heard Sang say these things on the 30th?
I can't remember exact time, but before, immediately after the results. of some.
And can you tell us from what your recollection, how was that? How were the results? Who was giving out the results on CAS FM on that day?
Because I think that radio station was not listed, but it was not directly, because it was only KBC who was communicating correctly, but the rest others was been not. I think it was stopped by them, by the government, if I'm still sure about it. But it was announcement just directly by Sang. But announcement was made by the electoral chairman, Mr. Kifuito.
And would you know where Mr. Sang was when he was announcing these results on that day?
I am not sure either he was talking outside the stations or inside the station. I'm not sure then.
Now, Mr. Witness, you mentioned something about the cow, to have already the cows to come out, but now it has returned to the stomach again. Can you explain that? What did that mean exactly?
I think they were expecting Raila to be the president. Now it's opposite. Now Kibaki has been declared, and that is to their disappointment.
You also said that Sang was saying that we are not expecting, but people should be ready to demand their rights. What did that mean?
Of course, to wait and see if Kibaki will not leave, then they should stand there firm to demand their rights. That is how I can understand.
And Mr. President also...
Mr. Garcia, I need to be clear whether, according to the witness, he had anything said about cows or cow and stomach. If so, what exactly was it that was said, if so?
Now, Mr. Witness,
Mr. President, just for the transcript, line 24 of the previous page, I think they were expecting Raila to be the president instead of president.
Indeed, that's what the witness said.
Now, Mr. Witness, we're going to try and clear up this matter. I asked you what was being said on CAS FM, and in your response you said this whole matter regarding the cow. The cows took him out. They were expecting the cow to have already. The cows took him out. Can you just explain to us what was said exactly by Mr. Sang in regards to the cow?
He was talking like in a Kalenjin, and he was saying that the leg of the calf from the stomach had just shown, but now it has returned to the stomach again.
So it's the leg of the calf.
Yes.
And you as a how did you understand that? What did you understand that to mean?
Of course, after the cow was returned, then it is not. It is like now they were expecting to have a cow, but now it is not. It's no more again. That's why they say, okay, this have to be. That is to mean elections. They were expecting the president to be Raila, but now it's opposite. That's what I'm meaning.
Thank you, Mr. Witness, for that. Now, you also mentioned that Mr. Sang was telling people that they should be ready to demand their rights. How did you understand that?
According to me, the results to be fast, so that Raila could be declared the president.
And how would you go about demanding? How would the people go about demanding their rights?
Because people are in the street already. They are already demonstrating, doing many things, and including blocking roads and destroying property of a particular community, and especially Kikuyus.
The question, of course, should be, according to the witness, did Mr. Sang say how people should go about demanding their rights? So we want to know what it is. According to the witness, he said he heard from Mr. Sang, let's avoid putting the witness's own interpretation of things up front and then missing what was actually said.
Your Honor, I was just simply asking how he understood it, but I will ask the question as to if anything was said in that regard. Now, Mr. Witness, you said that Mr. Sang...
I'm not saying you cannot ask him for his understanding, but first let's get the words, and then you can ask him what he understood of that. But when we have him telling us what he understood of something he hasn't quite clearly said, how it was said, it can lead to the wrong picture. Thanks.
Indeed, Your Honor. I don't want to confuse the witness or mislead. Now, Mr. Witness, I'd like to ask you this question. You said that Mr. Sang said that people should be ready to demand their rights. Did he say anything else in regards to how they should demand their rights?
He didn't say it, but he was saying young people should come out. So he could not say that. I will not say that do this or that. He could not say, I can't remember what he said exactly, but he was saying come out and demand your right.
Now, when you say that Mr. Sang could not say it directly, can you explain that to us?
I'm saying that if say come out and no further explanation over that, and then I will not say exactly that he say do this. That's what I'm saying.
Now, how did you understand it what did you understand that to me when he was telling the youth to come out?
Of course, to go in groups so that they could also do what things that could show that they are not happy about themselves. And I will not say that he said that do this, do demonstration or whatever. He didn't say that. But he will say come out and demand your right.
Now, we've understood that, Mr. Witness, that Mr. Sang didn't say that. I was just asking you how you understood it. You said that groups would do things. What things would they do?
At that particular moment, there was a lot of demonstration, I think almost countrywide by then. But I could say that this is kind of messages that could come out from a person who people listen very much, and then people were waiting results. At the same time, it shows that there was a lot of chaos in the country by then, and Sang was really communicating the same without saying that go and do demonstrate or do whatever, but he would say demand your right. People could not go to Nairobi to demand their rights, but to do some funny things in the areas to show that they want their rights, because they were singing, we want our rights. Again.
Just so the record can be clear, Mr. Witness, when you say that people do funny things in the areas, what were these funny things?
One of them is blocking roads, were chasing Kikuyus from town centers, and even the followers of the PNU. Those are the things that they were showing the hunger to the people in the ground, not because Kibaki was in the State House.
You said that Mr. Sang was even quoting his village in Trans Nzoia district, that you should be blocking the roads that particular time. Can you explain that to us? What do you mean by that?
I think the word itself, blocking the roads, is self-explained. How do you want me to explain further from that what I have said?
I'll ask you this question to clarify. You said that he was quoting his village in Trans-Nzoia district. What is Mr. Sang's village?
KK.
Is that K-I-P-K-E-G-E?
Yes, KK.
You can write it and also try to not block your put your hand in your mouth when you're speaking to the microphone. It can block the sound as well.
Your Honor, I do have the spelling here, and I think it is the correct one. It's K-I-P-K-E-G-E. Is that correct, Mr. Witness?
K?
K-I-P as in Peter, K-E-G-E.
I is there. K. Yeah.
All right. So Mr. Sang's village is Kipkege in Trans-Nzoia. Why was Mr. Sang speaking about Kipkege?
He must have known the people around there. That's why he was quoting there, his village.
What was he saying about Kipkege?
No, he was just saying that youths should block the roads and from that area, I don't know, people know to come out to go to the Kitale area to save a site.
When you say that he was just saying the youths just block the roads, these are youths from what area should block the road?
He was quoting Kipkege. Kipkege is his village, yes. I don't know, yeah. I don't know his village or the area he came from.
So he was quoting, Mr. Sang quoted his village. What did he say? Tell us everything he said in regards to his village.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to place an objection now. This has been asked many times. I think he said what he said. There's nothing he wants to add. So at some point, you can leave it.
I understand the defense counsel might wish that I leave this subject, but I'm trying to clarify matters with the witness.
Objection is overruled.
Now, Mr. Witness, please explain to us, we were not there obviously, explain to us what was said by Mr. Sang about Kipkege and the youth in Kipkege.
He was saying that youths should come out, especially from Kipkege, youths. You have to come out to block the roads so that join the other people coming out to block the road so that can block people from going out from there. Because that area is also Kikuyu dominated area in that other part of that area. So if they block the road, then people will not come out to the safety areas, Kikuyus especially.
Now, did he say anything else in regards to Kipkege?
Mr. President, can I just say, of course, I'm not trying to stop my learned friend in the least, but it's an issue of clarity. I think what's useful is to have the witness say exactly what he heard in one section, and after that, so that's on record, and after that have the interpretation. But to get piecemeal a line or a comment here and then an interpretation, it's all mixed up. So, Your Honours, in my respectful submission, we should hear what the witness alleges Mr. Sang said, and after that, of course, my friend can ask as many questions as he wants about the interpretation of those comments. But to mix the two together makes it a bit difficult to separate what's been said from the witness's understanding of what he recalls. And also difficult to separate speculation from fact.
Mr. Garcia?
Your Honor, I think the witness has been quite clear in what he says at page 16, lines 23 and following. He said clearly what he heard Mr. Sang say in regards to Kipkege. Now I'm asking additional questions to find out if anything else was said, and that's my last question on the record. So I don't see defense counsel's objection in this regard.
Your Honour, it's to do with this issue about roadblocks for safety, Kikuyus. Is that what Mr. Sang said, or is it an interpretation? And that's the danger we get into. If the witness can give a narrative from his recollection as to what Mr. Sang said in one compartment, and then my learned friend can break it down from that record as to what phrases meant or what he understood Mr. Sang to mean. And so, Your Honours, when in some time you are reviewing the transcript, all of us can understand exactly what is heard as opposed to the witness's interpretation of that. And that's the only comment. Otherwise, this comment about Kikuyus, is it what's said, or is it his understanding?
Mr. Khan, we have to proceed. Your concern is noted, of course. We'll keep an eye on matters. Yes, I've indicated to Mr. Garcia the need to first get what's said, in fact, and ask questions about that. But we don't want to be too categorical about things of that sort of directive. There may be the occasion when a lot might have been said, and there may be occasions when not a lot might have said or nothing at all said. We have to proceed.
Now, Mr. Witness, you've already said initially that they block the roads and especially will not come out to the safety areas, Kikuyu especially. Can you explain that to us? Why were they blocking the roads? What did Mr. Sang say about blocking the roads?
The first word which I said, blocking the roads, is just clear itself that it's blocking the roads. But to say Kikuyus were not to stop Kikuyus from going to the towns, he didn't say that. But that is according to what I could think about, because I was not there. I wasn't in that place.
No, we all understand that, Mr. Witness, that you were not there. The question I'm asking you is what you heard Mr. Sang say on the radio on that day, on Cass FM.
Yes, I could remember you say that.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, but this has really been asked and answered so many times.
Objection overruled.
Now, you said in response to my question, he was saying youth should come out. And I think it's especially from Kipkege, the youth. You know you have to come out to block the roads, to join other people coming out to block the roads so they can block people from going out from. Because that area is also Kikuyu-dominated area at that part of the area.
I've just said that they were saying that blocking the roads, but had that information blocking Kikuyus, it was my own thinking that because blocking the roads is to block people from going out of the stopping people from running to the safer place. That is what I was thinking about it. But he could not say that block Kikuyus from going to towns. He didn't mention that.
Now, just to be clear on the record, did Mr. Sang say that they had to block the roads?
Yeah, that's what I could say he said.
And just also to differentiate what your interpretation from what he said, did you hear him say that telling the youth from Kipkege to block the roads?
Yeah, youth from Kipkege to block.
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia.
Now, Mr. Witness, you mentioned that on the 30th of December there was a lot of war cry, noise. But what is a war cry? Can you explain that to us?
There is a specific kind of cry in Kalenjin community, which means a war cry, the preparation for war. And that was the noise which was made about that particular evening.
Do you remember at what time approximately that noise or that war cry was made?
Is it possible for the witness to assist us get an idea of what that noise is like? Very difficult with that.
I just had this first question, and then obviously I'm going to get into the war cry itself, Your Honor. I can do it either way.
Yes, proceed as you are. Go on.
Now, Mr. Witness, do you remember at what time approximately you heard this war cry?
I think immediately after there was a demonstration, and then later in the evening, by 8 after 6, or somewhere 7 in the evening.
And can you tell us what is a war cry? Can you describe it to us?
This is a specific cry to mean that people should come out and to go to the directions of an enemy where he sits, and then they could fight it back. Because the word which was said after the cry is to say they have attacked us. That is, they were saying in a Kalenjin, that word.
Witness, would you have any difficulty demonstrating what this cry is? You don't have to if you don't feel able or comfortable doing that. But if you can, that will assist.
Okay. If I can describe the word which was said, it was said cargo book. That is mean they have attacked us, and then they could also cry and then follow up with the message.
You said the words are what?
Cargo book.
And can you spell for us? You've got a sheet of paper and pen.
Yes.
Can you spell?
K. I'm not sure his real spelling. K A K O, and then K B, and then O, and then O K.
K A K O B O O K.
Yes.
Oh, right. And you say it means what? They've attacked us.
Yes, they have attacked us.
And how does, okay, you said those are the words that could accompany the cry.
Yes.
But what does a cry sound like?
It's a woman cry. That's how, I cannot explain. What could I say? It's
a woman's cry.
Yes.
So is it the case that only women could make this war cry?
Yes.
Men didn't make it?
No.
Please proceed, Mr. Garcia.
And on that particular day, was it men or women who were making this war cry?
And I've just said women.
And this word that you mentioned to the court, kagobok, in what language is this?
Kalenjin.
And can you also tell us this war cry, what ethnic group uses it?
Same Kalenjin.
Can I go into private session, Your Honor, just for a minute?
Private session.